Hello, my name is Jelani White, and today I'll be presenting my ethical leadership presentation for Kinesiology 505, Ethics and Leadership Kinesiology with Dr. Garrett. On today's agenda, we'll be going over a few points. One of the first points is identifying my personal leadership style. Um, this is something that we were able to identify early within this course. And once you understand what type of leader you are, that helps you when we're talking about career goals. So I'll identify my ultimate career goals and show how my leadership style helps for positive performance as being at the fitness professional that I want to be. Then we'll get into um, explaining leadership strategies, and then we'll go into scenarios that might happen while being integrated into this professional sector. Okay, with these scenarios, ethics get involved, and we want to see how these issues can be solved in an ethical manner. Okay, so after that, we'll get into the biblical worldview, and that's basically faith integration and how faith can be tied in to making ethical decisions. So I'll have a few biblical passages that support my proposed leadership approach, and then also what those same ethical decisions, how they present challenges, and how we can fix those through our faith-based integration. So my ultimate career goal is to be a NCAA strength and conditioning coach. I've been integrated with athletics my whole life, and for the past 12 years, I've been coaching and training on the private sector. Sports has been important because I've learned many things, many life lessons through sports, and I want to be able to give back those same life lessons um, at the highest level in my eyes, which is, you know, on the 4-year level. So helping athletes attain their goals is something is a feeling that brings me great gratitude. I love helping out. That's something that I've always been able to impact others through my active service. I also love being in the team environment, right? The team environment is something special because you're able to lean on each other to come up with the ultimate goal. And that's not always a successful goal. Sometimes you fail, but you can always learn from those experiences within the team sector. Okay, so I also want to be a positive role model. I think that's important. A lot of times when we get to college, uh, we're very fragile and trying to understand who we are. So having uh, positive role models around is very important to the outcomes and growing these young athletes. So I just want to build for the future. I want to build these young men and women up so that they can go into the world well equipped. And good coaches, they're rare, but when you come across a good coach like I have, they have a positive impact on society. So a good coach can shift, you know, negative situations into a positive at the end of the day. So I want to be able to do the same. I want to be able to take an athlete who may not believe in themselves, might be on the verge of quitting, and because of my presence and because of my coaching style, because of my leadership, they'll be able to see the finish line and get through it. And hopefully that'll help them later on in life. As a strength coach, I want to make sure that I keep the right people around me. My assistant coaches need to feel empowered. I always want to be able to lean on my assistant coaches to make sure that I'm making the best decision possible. So my leadership style that I most resonate with is the democratic leader. Democratic leadership, rather than making decisions alone, they collaborate with their assistant coaches to make the best final decisions. Leaders who are democratic, they feel that collaboration leads to positive decision making. I have to make sure that I'm not making impulsive decisions based off of how I feel. I always have to include my team. Anybody who's ever been in a dictatorship will see that those create negative relationships between coach and athlete or coach and assistant coach. A lot of times that negativity can spill onto the court or the field, and it creates a disconnect between the team and then the coaches. Okay, let's explore some leadership strategies of an effective democratic leader. So the first strategy is team empowerment. Like stated before, I want to make sure that I'm empowering my assistant coaches, empowering those around me. Great leaders delegate. Okay, you got to be able to delegate. You can't do it all on your own. Team members feel trusted and they stay motivated more and they perform better when there's delegation. Okay, that's team empowerment. That's what you want to do. That's what a great democratic leader will do. So Yenin et al. They suggest that effective leadership in championship teams heavily includes democratic elements. Okay, so the next strategy is transparent communication. You want to be an open book as a democratic leader. Um, you want to communicate a clear message, and then you want to communicate that consistently. Okay, you always want to have the same message because that eliminates confusion. Okay, if your team is confused and they don't know what their role is, oftentimes things get misconstrued. Okay, Champion et al. Says that transparency and accountability has helped the CEO of Grassroots Soccer become a world leader in soccer development programs. So they're doing a great job of being transparent, being an open book, and making sure that the message is clear. My third strategy is leading by example. So you have to walk the walk. If you want to be a leader, you have to walk the walk. If you don't, you'll lose your followers. You essentially lose your stable. People are more likely to follow a leader who embodies the values that they promote. So you got to make sure that everything that you preach, you have to put into action. And a lot of times, actions speak louder than words. A lot of time, if the people following you, or if I'm a strength coach and I'm preaching, making sure that I'm getting my treatment and making sure that I'm getting the weight room consistently, and I'm not held at the same standard, it's gonna be tough. I'm not gonna be a valid voice in the long run. So you have to make sure that you are walking that walk. As a college strength coach, I'm gonna have my challenges, and when those challenges are presented, I have to make sure that I'm prepared and I can come up with the right ethical scenarios to solve those problems. So let's walk through the three scenarios that I can foresee happening as a college strength coach. The first is athlete exploitation. That pretty much sums up the basis of what's going on in college. There's a lot of money being transferred through name, image, likeness, and we have to make sure that the athlete isn't getting exploited. And as a strength coach, I have to make sure that my morals are set and that I'm not getting influenced by outside noise so that myself, I'm not exploiting the athlete either. Then you got double standard discipline. Many times we see that the best athletes aren't always held to the same standard as everybody else on the team. Got to make sure that double standard discipline is something that's not seen in my program. And then lastly, integrity of the game. I have to make sure that I'm practicing and I'm preaching integrity. Okay. We never want to cheat. We never want to, you know, lose sight of integrity of the game. There might be a situation where athletes, come across sports betting or other things of that nature, um, to try to get a, a gain, or actually a financial gain, which has been seen a lot all through college sports. We got to make sure that at the end of the day, my message as a strength coach is that I'm maintaining integrity of the game. Okay, so let's dive deeper into these ethical scenarios. So the first scenario is athlete exploitation, where an NIL agent might offer me as a coach an incentive for a player to sign with his company. This is an issue because I already get a salary from the school, from my university, so I shouldn't be seeking out extra incentives from agents. Essentially, a, a player will have to be influenced by that particular agent. That can't come from me. So the strategy um, for this scenario that I would do is promote athlete education and empowerment through transparency. So I want to, from day one, talk to my athletes and let them know that these things are happening, and make sure that they're aware, because signing a bad deal with the wrong agent can be very detrimental to a student athlete. So when I'm transparent and I'm clear in my message, and we talk about these things throughout the course of the year while they're with me in the weight room, the athlete will have more knowledge just in case this scenario comes about, and it also helps me stay on the same page. Okay, if I'm constantly talking about it and I'm walking the walk, I won't be easily influenced as a coach. The second scenario will be double standard discipline. So a lot of times we see special players getting special privileges. Okay, so it might be a situation where it's a conditioning day and we're running, and I tell one of my star players, hey, sit this one out. That can be negatively communicated, right? That message isn't clear, um, because my athlete who might not be as talented will see that, hey, this person's getting special treatment, and that's not fair. You always want to create a fair environment. Um, so the strategy that I came up with for double standard discipline is to establish and enforce a clear, consistent code of conduct that applies to all athletes. And I have to make sure that I'm always clear and I'm always applying it to all athletes. Okay. So I can't have double standard discipline. That's the easiest way to lose a locker room. Okay. And then I won't have the same effort from all of my players if I'm showing that double standard. Okay, and then we have lastly we have the integrity of the game aspect. We live in the age of sports betting. It's prevalent. We've seen it in the National Baseball League. We've seen it in college basketball. We've seen it in the NBA. It's a betting culture. Um, it's very, very prevalent, and for a lot of times college athletes, it's so easy to dive and get involved in that sector. So the strategy that I think I would implement is to build a culture of ethical accountability through education and role modeling. So as a strength coach, I'm not going to be on those apps. I'm not going to be, doing prize picks myself. And we're going to hold each other accountable, okay, by educating and I'm showing my athletes why you don't have to fall into the sports betting. If we take care of business on the next level, you'll be able to get your money. You'll be able to, have these incentives. If we take care of business while we're here together and we're building as a team. So my next strategy in that sector would be to lead with an integrity as a core team value. So constantly preaching integrity, integrity, integrity. So I might put that on the wall. I might, with our weekly um, meetings, I want to continue to preach integrity. Okay, making that a core team value. And then lastly, I want to educate athletes on the institution and the NCAA's compliance. So when they first come in and we're talking about team rules, I have to make sure that they know that the institution doesn't support this and that NCAA doesn't support this, and that we all can get in trouble if we don't keep that integrity of the game. So next we'll get into the biblical worldview and the faith integration aspect uh, of this presentation on being a democratic leader, right? We have to there's ways to integrate our faith into our leadership style. So I look at two verses. There are two verses that resonated with me. The first was Proverbs chapter 15, verse 22. It's plans fail for lack of counsel, but with many advisors, they succeed. So all this is saying, it's emphasizing the importance of seeking input before making decisions. Okay, so the best programs in my eyes are inclusive programs, and just kind of ties into what I've been previously stating, that we have to have a strong team. We have to be inclusive. The next verse is Philippians chapter 2, verses 3 through 4. It says, "Do nothing out of selfish ambition or vain conceit. Rather, in humility, value others above yourself, not looking to your own interests, but each of you to the interests of others." And in that verse, uh, once again, it shows that effective leadership is rooted in humility and valuing collective wisdom, right? We want to continue to be inclusive. We want to continue to lean on each other as leaders, and not be a dictator, right? We don't want to be a dictator. We want to be someone that's always seeking others for success. So there you have it. We've come to the end. I hope you enjoyed my presentation. We went over my career path, being a strength and conditioning coach in college, my leadership style as having a democratic approach to leading these young athletes. I showed you my leadership strategies and how I'll come across with being a democratic leader. And then we went into the ethical scenarios, and then there are resolutions to those scenarios, that, things that might occur as I'm a strength coach, issues that I'll have to, approach and come up with effective solutions. And then lastly, we got into the biblical worldview, where we integrate faith, and use faith as a vehicle to help us become the best leaders that we can be. So I appreciate you going through my presentation, and this is going to be a great integration and a great course for me as I go through my walk and finally becoming um, that strength coach that I want to in the very end. So thank you.